Welcome in to House of Horns. My name is Victor Corona, aka Victor Producer, and joining me for the first time in a couple of weeks is Gilbert Manzano, who does it for Sports Illustrated MMQB. Gilbert, are you ready to go? Ready for the playoffs now? Week 18 is almost in the books. We have one more game, but we know what the schedule is now for the NFC. We're still waiting what's going to happen with the AFC. And as we were just talking right before we hopped on, we should know the schedule in terms of the times and days around halftime of the Sunday night football game. So, how are you doing, sir? Happy New Year. Hope you had a good vacation. But it's good to be back. I'm glad to be back in here, Gilbert, because I had technical difficulties. I think the
Oh,
three shows I ended up doing in Oklahoma. So I am very happy to be back in rainy Los Angeles.
yeah. I know I look as bad as the Rams did the last couple of weeks. Sorry, I had to take one shot because I haven't been here the last couple of weeks. So yeah, the Rams looked like crap when I was away, but here I am looking like crap as well. So I apologize. I'm jet lagged from a trip, so I'm trying to catch up myself here. I did not have technical difficulties like you did, Victor, but I've been out in the cold, and then I get back here and it's raining and it's cold in LA. But anyways, enough complaining. Yeah, the Rams looked like crap in the first half of the Cardinals, matchup here, but I think it was good that they eventually put them away. It was a beat down by the second half. The offense picked up. Kobe Parkinson, uh, you know, did well. I think he had 2 touchdowns. I lost track.
Yeah, he set the record for most touchdown catches for a tight end in the franchise. So with 8
Wow,
now.
okay. Shout out to
Yeah,
him, Kobe
yeah.
Parkinson. So, yeah, I honestly don't care much about how the Rams looked in the first half. I think to just put them away and win by double digits to go into the playoffs is probably a good boost for morale. I know I wasn't around for the last couple of weeks, but when I saw Sean McVay said, "Yeah, we're playing for Week 18," I don't care about rest. This is the guy who always prioritizes rest before big games. The Rams look like crap. I'm like I started the show. They weren't looking good, so you needed to feel good, look good, go into the playoffs playing well. Now you get the crappy Carolina Panthers, so I'll crap on them for the rest of the week because the Panthers do not deserve to be in the playoffs. But hey, they got that tiebreaker because the Falcons did them a favor. So now go into Carolina and get revenge. But overall, to me, Week 18 was all about getting your mojo back, flexing your muscles, having a dominant offense, and then getting them back on track defensively. So I think they check all the boxes for that.
Yeah, and I'll be the negative one here, Gilbert. And
Okay, there you go.
two things that popped out in this game here that I was not happy to see. There was the special teams error there where they allowed the punter to complete a pass there on fourth down, which extended the drive, and they were able to go on and score. And then, of course, the secondary again, Gilbert, getting, Kilo Witherspoon just getting beat up and down by Michael Wilson. The fact that it just proves to you that the way they're going to have to win these games go in the playoffs. And I feel like the way the playoff matchups are setting up, everything is setting up great for the Rams right now. That'll be my positive. But in terms of what I saw, I think there's still some deficiencies there that, I'm glad that Sean McVay decided, to your point, to play the starters in this game. And he played them all the way up until almost the end of the fourth quarter. So they had not been playing well for the last couple weeks. And so I'm glad he decided to do that. And I thought the offense, again, the biggest thing I took away from this, Gilbert, was Tyler Higbee. Him being back on this team just makes that offense like 100 times better. And the fact that you didn't even get to see Terrence Ferguson out there. He was out in this game with an injury. And so when you have those three tight ends with Kobe Parkinson, Terrence Ferguson, and Tyler Higbee, this team offensively becomes very dangerous, and you get to get Devontae Adams back in the playoffs. I think they could be a scary team offensively, but like we talked about, it takes three phases of football to win games, and I still have my concerns when it comes to the secondary. And I thought it was a great tweet by someone that you actually were in on the beat when you were on the beat with Beecham. from the AP, and he said like we started training camp with questions with the secondary, and we're ending the season with questions with the secondary, Gilbert. And so I hate to bring it up and me be the negative one here, not you, but it's just those things are still there.
Yeah, no, these are valid points here, and yeah, like I know Carolina does not deserve to be in the playoffs, but we just saw a couple weeks ago how Ted McMillan and Bryce Young from all quarterbacks lit up the secondary. So yeah, I'm tired of being the negative one. So go ahead and give me a break here, Vic, because you're right. The secondary is not good. Uh, the pass rush has not been getting home as much as I would like, at least. I don't know how the listeners and viewers of House of Horns feel, but I think they've been a disappointment or they've been overrated. Maybe that's a better word to say. Like they're not terrible, but the way we propped them up before the season, the front has not delivered. They got a little scared at the end with Byron Young getting hurt, but I think he came off the
Yeah, he
field
was laughing. He was fine.
yeah, and he was fine. So you're gonna need that front to really come alive. Like remember last year in that Vikings game in the wild card in Arizona because of the wildfires in Southern California, they came alive. They stepped up. You're gonna need that again. I know Bryce Young is not a scary quarterback. He could have his bad day on any given Sunday. But McMillan's a good wide receiver. I know he got punished there for the OPI against the Buccaneers on Saturday, but he was going to make a game-winning play. He's a rookie, but he's a baller. Canales is pretty good with the run game, but also they were really terrible against the Buccaneers. So I don't know how Rico Dow and Chuba Hubbard is going to do against this defense. But you're right, they have a weakness, and Michael Wilson was going up and down the field. I'm like, yeah, it's the same secondary. Every time I saw him go up and down the field with Jacoby Brissett. So yeah, you get the crappy Carolina Panthers, but you lost to that team a couple weeks ago. You're going back to Carolina. You don't have home field advantage. So, it's not really a gimme here. It is going to be, I think the Rams might be like a touchdown favorite, in this game here. But after that, can these weaknesses hold up against the Seahawks again? Probably. If you win and you're the fifth seed, you're going to Seattle. They're on a 1 week bye. So eventually it could catch up here. So you don't know what could happen either. Maybe the 49ers, beat the Eagles and then the 49ers play Seattle. We don't know the paths just yet, but every team in the NFL has a talented wide receivers. So this secondary is going to probably eat you or haunt you at some point, and it's up to the front to make up for it. It's up to the offense to make up for it. So that's why I was harping on that. Like when the offense dropped 37 points, and they said, okay, Brissett and Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, we don't care what you do. We're going to score more than you, and that's what happened today.
Yeah, and I want to get to two things here, and I want to start here with AMS, and he says, "I have a feeling we're gonna play the first game on Saturday." If I'm the Rams, I want that Saturday game because that way it gives you some extra time to get ready for the Seahawk game. If you get through that game, and then the other thing too with ESG, don't forget that uh, Quinn Lake is coming back. He will be back for this game as well. I forgot about that too. He was on the sidelines. His window was open. So
Yeah, that helps.
and I don't know if you've seen the stats, and I brought him up to Fernando, but it's been night and day with Quinn Lake and without him. So he makes a big difference. And I was telling Fernando during the preview about sometimes I don't care about PFF numbers. I don't sometimes having someone that has good chemistry with the rest of the secondary can help and it can help mask things. You don't have to have a great secondary. You just need to have people that can communicate back there. And then to your point, I think they're gonna have that front is gonna have to bring it in order to mask some of those problems in the back end. So I think those are two things to kind of keep in mind. And then one more question here from Brian. Did Aquilo play against Carolina? I think that was his first game back, I want to say, Gilbert. I don't remember. I would need to go back and check and see when he was back. So
Yeah, I don't remember that one either.
yeah.
But
Because
he's
there
been
was
back
that.
for a few weeks now, so maybe
Yeah.
maybe he wasn't that one. But going back to the question of this maybe being the first game on Saturday, there's a good chance. I'm trying to run through it because obviously the teams from the South, the AFC or the NFC South, usually get that early Saturday. But I think the TV broadcasts are going to prefer to have Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers in prime time, so they're going to get either Saturday night or a good schedule. So it could honestly be Rams, Panthers. I started thinking maybe that Monday night game, but I bet you it's going to be Bears 49ers. Those are two big teams with large TV audiences, and they're going to want that. I feel like so I think it's going to be Bears Niners. That's my bold prediction. So I can't find a good spot. Like maybe like Jaguars Bills, but then you have Josh Allen.
Yep.
And then my guess is put it this way: I'll predict either Chargers Patriots or Rams Panthers get the first game of the playoff weekend on Saturday. One of those two teams. They're just not the sexiest matchups, but I could be wrong. Unless you think of something worse than these two.
Well, the Jacksonville is not a big market. We've seen it. It just depends on you, like you
Josh
said.
Allen. That's my thing, though. They're playing Josh
exactly.
Allen.
No, I'm with you. And Trevor Lawrence, that's a really good quarterback. My two things that I look for when I'm thinking about how these TV people think or the network people is quarterback and then city, right? If it's a big city. So you have the two LA teams, right? One of them's gonna go play the Patriots. They're both gonna be on the East Coast. So my guess is we might see both of those games be early on Saturday and Sunday. That's my guess.
Maybe there's a chance if the Steelers win, which I don't know they will tonight. Nobody cares about Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. Maybe people do. I don't know. So maybe it could be like Texans, Steelers would be maybe a good options, but that's if Lamar Jackson does not advance. But yeah, we'll find out. It's just not the sexiest matchup because the Rams are attached to the Panthers. So I am very intrigued to see where they put them here. And you're right, it's not a West Coast game, so it's going to be on the East Coast. So that's prime for Saturday. And then if you think about it too, if that happens, I don't know if this is why the question is being brought up. The Panthers would get a full week off compared to the Rams who get 6 days off, and they have to travel. So that would be crappy too for the Rams here.
Yeah, they'll get them on a short week, but then because then you have to think about who gets that Monday night game, because if it's the Rams, then then from what I remember, because we've not done this for a couple of years now. We've heard the complaints of those teams that get that Monday night game, and then they end up being the last game on Sunday. So that and it would be a West Coast matchup between the Rams. Or it wouldn't matter if it was the Rams and Seahawks or the Panthers and Seahawks. So that is something to kind of keep in mind as well. But I wouldn't have thought a Rams team would be the first game up on a Saturday, but the way the matchups are kind of looking, and especially
maybe
with
Eagles,
the fact
Packers.
that it's
no, I think maybe Eagles Packers could be a Saturday early game, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that was supposed to be two teams that were going to be were contenders to be in the Super Bowl, and they've kind of faded late in the season. So you might be right. We'll see what happens. We'll know by halftime, and I'm sure people who are listening later on are gonna see what happens there. But just in terms of how you see them stacking up against, and we'll get more into the matchups, and you kind of went through it a little bit. In terms of what some of them, like Brian was saying, that Carolina scares him because of Canales and what he can do. But I think defensively, I think they kind of figure some things out. They turned Matthew Stafford 3 times in that game. I know it was raining. I checked the weather. There's not supposed to be any rain. It's supposed to be in around the 60s, kind of like how it's been here this week. So no weather concerns. It's not going to be super cold. It's going to be probably in the 60s. So it doesn't matter whether it's at night or during the day. So what are your first, just as we get ready to, think about this matchup?
Yeah, and first of all, sorry, I apologize. I thought it was Eagles, 49ers, Bears, but it's going to be
Eagles. It's Bears, Packers, which that one's going to get prime time.
I don't know. I feel like the Packers have just been so decimated with injuries, and now we've seen that matchup 3 times, but it could definitely get a good time slot. Eagles 49ers is now my guess for Monday Night Football. I think it's kind of a little bit of rivalry too from the 2023 and 2022 season. But anyways, enough about the schedule. I just got that wrong. I just wanted to clarify. But Yeah, again, it's a they're a pesky team, the Panthers. I kind of feel like I got a pulse on them. They're just not ready for big time matchups. They kind of fold when the pressure is there, and when there's no pressure, like that Rams game a couple of weeks back when they were a 10-point underdog. Nobody really cared about them at the time. It was all eyes on the Rams. The Rams are looking like the best team in football. They're gonna get the number one seed. We're talking about them getting a bye week. We're talking about Matthew Stafford being a runaway from the MVP. So all the pressure was on the Rams, not on the Panthers. And so they won that game. And to their credit, when there's no pressure, they had some big time victories. They beat the Packers. There was a couple other upsets. I think I saw like a stat, like they won the most upsets, betting upsets of the season.
Yep.
So when they're big dogs, they come through, but this is a pressure filled game. This is a winner go home game. And you look at their track record, winner go home game against the Buccaneers, which they didn't really go home, which is it was a weird wrinkle there. They lost
Yep.
to the Buccaneers by 2 points. Uh, when they had maybe had an opportunity to put the division away, the Seahawks came to town. They got the doors blown off their house. They're just not a good team with pressure. When they were on Monday Night Football against the 49ers with the chance to get the first place in the division, they sucked. Bryce Young had like 3 interceptions. So I could keep going down the list. Whenever there's eyeballs or pressure, the Panthers have lost every single time this season. So to me, that's going to be huge for the Rams, who are very experienced here. I know a lot of the people from the 2021 Super Bowl team is not around, but you still got Matthew Stafford. You still got Sean McVay. This is a very experienced team overall. Maybe Devontae Adams coming back. So to me, I don't care what happened against Carolina the first time around. I'm expecting the Rams to blow them out because of what the Panthers have shown me, not because the Rams are showing me that they're definitely superstars or Super Bowl contenders. I still have a bunch of question marks like you do, Victor. But the Panthers are just not ready for the moment, and it broke their way for the Rams with the schedule here.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think and I don't want to give them credit here because I don't want to start in terms of looking ahead. I guess that's really what I want to say. Not that I don't want to give them credit. It's more of I don't want to look ahead in terms of the way the schedule broke, but it's starting to look like 2021 again in terms of you go up against an NFC South team, and then we'll see how things break the rest of the way. But if we saw what happened in those two matchups against Seattle. Both of those matchups, the difference is 1 point. The Browns won by two, then the Seahawks won by one. So you start looking at how the playoffs might shake out, and the Rams are in good position. But last time we said that, when they had the number one seed, we said, well, they have a good shot at the number one seed. It's gonna break their way if they do things right. And so that's why I'm like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I'm gonna just keep it here with the Panthers. And I'm with you. I the offense needs to put their foot on their throat here. And there's a reason. What I think I saw a stat where this is the fifth straight year under McVay where they've scored over 500 points of offense. They're gonna have to continue to score points. That's the way they're going to win or go on a Super Bowl run is through their offense and be able to mask some of the deficiencies on special teams and on defense. And so that's what I want to see. And we'll get more into it on Wednesday when we break down the matchup. But it's crazy. We usually don't get rematches. It's been a weird year. And then this year, it might be all rematches if you really look at it the way things are breaking down for the Rams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I honestly like so much occurred this season. I keep going back to what I was saying in August. Like this is a bad secondary. This feels like the Rams have a limitation on them where they feel like a divisional round team, and that's about it. And I'm going back there because again, I know you're the negative one of the show, but there's a lot this team has to prove to me. And maybe they go into Carolina and they beat the crap out of them. Like, okay, finally, you're not playing with your food. Uh, Finally, we could move past the Carolina loss, move past the Seattle loss, move past the Falcons loss. This team was not good the final month of the season. And you said it, they probably peaked too soon when they beat the Seahawks the first time around. So a lot of question marks still linger for me. But, say they do advance, can you stop AJ Brown and Devontae Smith? Can you stop, the tight end duo there for the Chicago Bears? Loveland and Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. They got weapons too. You play the Seahawks, you got to deal with JSN again. We saw the shootout that took place in round 2 of that rivalry. So, whatever matchup breaks their way, they're gonna have to overcome their secondary issues. Even in Carolina, like Ted McMillan is a good playmaker. So we'll see, what they do there. And I just did not like what I saw from the Panthers on Saturday. I did not like what I saw from the Panthers in big time spots here. So Rico Dow has not been the same running backs, since that first game against the Rams. I don't think that was even a big game for him that day. So things are not really clicking there. But for whatever reason, they're here because the NFC South was just that terrible. I can't believe the Falcons were 8-9, and
Didn't make the playoffs.
yeah, all 3 teams were 8-9, and then somehow the Panthers got the tiebreaker, which I don't even know how.
They
But
swept
because
the Falcons. That's why.
yeah, but they, the Buccaneers were also involved in the
Yeah.
tiebreaker, so who beat them in Week 18. So it was just a weird thing, and even the Falcons screwed over Tampa Bay twice. They beat them on that Thursday night game to come back, and then they beat them, today by beating the Saints. So the NFC South is just a dumb division. So, personally, it'll be nice to see the Rams beat the crap out of them because you don't belong in the playoffs. I honestly feel like the NFL should change their playoff format. I'm tired of seeing these crappy teams in the playoffs. Like, if you're a division winner and you don't win at least 10 games, you do not deserve home field advantage. Like that should be my rule. Like, you have to have at least double-digit victories to get a home field game. If you don't, and you win a division, I'm sure go get a playoff berth, whatever. I still want divisions to mean something, but at this rate, it should be the Rams should be the home team. Same thing like last year when the Vikings won 14 games, they should be the home team. But seeing probably what the Ravens might go to the playoffs with 9 wins and host a playoff game, to me that's crap. But that's a whole different topic. The Panthers are in. You can't change the rules here. Rams have to go on the road and beat them at their house again.
Yeah, and then there's 2 things here from ESG that I wanted to point out. The first one, it says out of all the teams in the playoffs, who has the most questions, like so they all pretty much what he's saying is all the teams have question marks going into the playoffs. And one positive for the Rams here, and why I do like him in the playoff round here, Gilbert, is because they have the best coach to quarterback combination. As long as you have McVay and Matthew Stafford, it's gonna take you a long way. Even in bad weather games, I still believe in Matthew Stafford's arm. So I'm okay. Like that would be my optimistic look with the Rams, even with those 2 things that I said that I have concerns about, which is special teams in the secondary. But you can match those. And then the other thing I was gonna bring up with that has to do with the Panthers, the way they've been able to win games when they've been able to have those big upsets, Gilbert, I've noticed that what they do is they chew up the clock, and that is to ESG's point that they ran the ball 40 times. They're gonna make the game ugly. That's why if you're the Rams, your offense has to lead the way on in that playoff game, because the Panthers are going to try to keep the ball away from your offense, just like they did in that first matchup, and then they're going to try to have you make the mistakes and capitalize them, because they took advantage of those 3 turnovers. So I think that'll be something we'll talk about on Wednesday when we do the uh the preview, Gilbert. But before we go, just give me your final thoughts. I mean, I guess give me what is your prediction? When do we see this game between the Rams and the Panthers, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Saturday. I'm gonna say why not? First game out the gate. Uh, you know, this is kind of like the if you win a division, you get some advantages. If you don't win a division, you get disadvantages, and that's what the Rams are going to get. If you have to play on a short week, 6 days, or yeah, 6 days because Carolina got their full 7. We're playing on Saturday, and go back to Carolina because if you win that game, you probably have a different story right now. So go make up for it, and maybe you get the short end of the stick here by playing on a Saturday, in Carolina when you won more games than the other team. But hey, tough crap. go make up for it. All these challenges, all these obstacles, maybe that's good for morale. When you're having to play on the road and now you're starting to feel yourself again. So, like you mentioned, Victor, if when a team is not in your league or is afraid to hang with you when they're playing ball control. They're going to play keep away, run the football. They don't belong on the field with you. So don't let them dictate the terms. So, to me, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it's okay to go on the road, to get one out the way, and then show, okay, you're still this top team here. And uh, yeah, everybody's saying that maybe the Seahawks now have the clear path to the Super Bowl. I don't think so. I know I'm being negative
No.
on the show, but I still have my question marks about
Oh yeah.
Seattle. I know
Especially
the
what I
defense.
saw on Saturday, Gilbert. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you.
their defense comes to play, and the thing is, the one big thing about Seattle was they don't play with their food. When they play inferior competition, they dominate. Well, guess what? There's no more inferior competition. You're Seattle. You have to play
No.
with the big boys and show you could do it on a consistent basis. So to me, that's my one big area of concern. And it's not just a Sam Darnold thing. It's okay, can you hang now and play good teams every single week? So people are gunning to them. They got the target on their back. So we'll see. But overall, it's wide open.
It's
Everybody has their flaws. I know people mentioned in the comment, but embrace the challenges, embrace the obstacles. Yeah, it sucks having to play 8-9 Carolina on the road, but go over there and hammer them. To me, that's going to be my biggest thing to harp on for the whole week.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday. But yeah, let us know, when do you guys, what is your prediction as to when this game's gonna take place? I'm with you. I think they get that Saturday, either that first Saturday or the Saturday night game. And Brian's right. They don't do well when they rest. So might as well be on a short week, and in that way you can take care of business right away, and everybody can we can it'd be funny though, Gilbert, before we go here, if it's Rams in the morning, like for here on Compas on the Beat, if it's Rams in the morning and then or in the afternoon, and then Chargers at night on Saturday, that would be hilarious if that's what we get. But yeah, that is it for us today, Gilbert. There's not much to talk about this game. We knew they just needed to win. They got the fifth seed. We know that they're going to play the Carolina. We just don't know what day it's going to be. But awesome to see everybody. I hope everybody had a happy New Year. ESG, great with the comments there. Happy Gilmore. Good to see you back on here. Michael Armenta. And says Carney is in here. Henry Camacho's in here. So and even our guy Brian Smith and Delver Salgado, Willie Bowen and AMS got the comments going today. So it's good to see everybody. Get ready. We're gonna have a big show on Wednesday. It's gonna be probably a full show. So if you have any questions, we'll answer your questions there. We're just kind of time limited because Gilbert has to go take care of Sunday Night Football. But Wednesday, make sure you have all your questions. Be ready to go. That way, we'll have a big show. Get ready to preview this matchup between the Rams and the Carolina Panthers, and we'll know by then what time and what day they're playing. Gilbert.
Yeah, it's finally playoff week. This was kind of a drag week 18 because a lot of the playoff spots were already taken. You were kind of just worried about playoff seeding, and obviously we got this Ravens Steelers game, which I'm not really excited about. It's just, again, another mediocre division trying to grab my attention. Please stop it. Win 10 games and be a real division winner. But
By the way, I just wanted a tweet from Greg Rosenthal of NFL Network. There is not an obvious candidate for Westivus, the early Saturday playoff game originally owned by Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
His guess, it's going to be Rams Panthers.
Yeah, that's my guess. It's going to be one of the South teams, and if it's Steelers Texans, I think they might take it. But if it's Ravens Texans, they're going to put that one at a nighttime slot. But yeah, my guess is Panthers Rams. Don't take offense of that, Rams fans. It's just
you want that Saturday game. I think for once you want that Saturday game.
Yeah. You want to keep tradition alive where the South team bores us and you hammer them, and it's a boring game, lopsided playoff game, no sweat, easy peasy. Go ahead and handle that, Rams. But again, we'll talk about it on Wednesday. It's time to get going here and watch Sunday Night Football, Ravens, Steelers. But enjoy the victory. You made it 18 weeks, 17 games, so a bunch of preseason games, a bunch of BS, but some good times too. And last thing, we got to get going. I still think Stafford should win the MVP. Vic, what do you say? Cool. There we go. So let me know in the comments if you think Stafford should win MVP. I'm guessing you're going to say yes, but it's time to get going. Ya nos vamos, pues. Vámonos.